John from JO Ventures Outdoors, and today I have a special video. The Elk Ridge traveling Bowie knife, or Bowie knife, as some might say, has arrived at JO Ventures Outdoors. And so today I'm going to talk about this. But if you're not familiar with the traveling knives, there are actually three of them. The Elk Ridge Small Stockman, which was purchased originally by Tom at Knife Delights, has made its rounds. It has gone through about 5 channels or so, and these knives are sent from one channel to the next. And we all do videos on these knives and post them, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to get to know other YouTube creators, channel content creators within the knife community. And so I really appreciate Tom for starting that with the Elk Ridge Small Stockman. And then North Star Knife Reviews has sent out the Elk Ridge Bowie knife and also a Kershaw Chill, I believe is the name of that model. And I'll be reviewing it later on. But so it's just a great way for us to get to know each other and to do these videos and review these knives for the community. So I really appreciate North Star Knife Reviews organizing this traveling knife, the Elk Ridge Bowie knife, and also the Kershaw, which will come later. And with usually when they send the knife out, we send it on to the next channel, and I'll be sending this on to Tom at Knife Delights next, and then he'll send it on to another channel. But we usually send some swag with that. And so North Star Knife Reviews sent me this beautiful bottle opener, and with a handmade handle. And he makes handles for knives and makes these bottle openers. And this is just beautiful. Thank you so much for this gift. And also a Kubotan. I think this is really cool. It's a self-defense weapon and a glass breaker, and it's got a little key ring on there. This is really, really awesome. And thank you so much for sending this to me, and also some stickers. And I'll be sending on a few items to Tom as well. So, the Bowie knife, here it is. And as I was getting ready for this video, I did a little reading on the history of the Bowie knife. It is very interesting. I'll put some links probably down in the description of some resources, but according to the things I've read, and there are some conflicting accounts, I guess, but according to the things I read about the Bowie knife, it was made famous by a man named James Bowie, who was involved, found himself involved in a uh, duel between um, Samuel L. Wells, looking at my notes here, and Thomas H. Maddox. And this duel took place in 1827 in the middle of the Mississippi River on a sandbar. In fact, it's called the Sandbar Fight of Vidalia, and it's right across from Natchez, Mississippi. So apparently, these two dueled, and it turned out okay. But then the people, the men that were supporting each side, got into a brawl. And so Jim Bowie got into a knife fight with some of the other men, and he was shot, he was beaten, he was stabbed. There were people killed. I mean, you can read the details in the references that I'll leave. But his knife became famous from that brawl, and apparently it was a knife that his brother lent him. And it wasn't the original, it wasn't the Bowie knife that we all think of as being famous at that time in that brawl, but it was like more like a big butcher knife. But later on, there was a man named James Black who designed the clip point uh, form of the Bowie that is famous today. And back then, having a big knife was important because they had muzzle loaders, and those were unreliable at the time. The guns they had were unreliable, and so having a big knife to be able to defend yourself was important. So a little bit on the history of the Bowie knife. I'll put more down in the description below, but I just thought it was very interesting. So here it is, the Elk Ridge Bowie. You can see that it has the elk on here and Elk Ridge. This is 3R, uh, 3CR13 MOV, if I can get it out there. It's a full tang knife. It has a wooden handle. It's pretty smooth. It feels good in the hand. It's really sharp. I cut some tomatoes with it today just to test it out, some cardboard, and carved a little wood with it just to try it out. I really like the feel in the hand. I put a green lanyard on there, and you'll see why I chose a green lanyard here in a few minutes. But yeah, I think I really like this knife. It's about 9.5 inches overall. It's produced. It's an Elk Ridge knife, but apparently they're owned or produced by Master Cutlery. And I'll let one of the other channels that's going to review this say more about the company and the history and that sort of thing. But I liked it. It performed really well. I think it'd be great in a camping situation, an outdoor situation. It's really too big to carry as an everyday carry, of course, but it is really cool looking. I love this the clip point blade here, and the standard Bowie kind of design, and so I really like this. It's very cool. It comes with this sheath. It's about $21. The knife is on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. It has the Elk Ridge stamped here. Really nice stitching, and pretty nice sheath overall. It has a button here to keep it in. It's held this way, and it's fairly thin leather, but it does the trick. And this knife goes down in here, and of course that carries on your belt. So it comes with a pretty decent sheath. Just as a size comparison, my little Ozark Trail, um, just as a comparison here, fixed blade. I don't have very many fixed blades, but this is one I use sometimes when I go camping. It just dwarfs that that Ozark Trail. So just to give you a little size comparison. So, this knife is really cool. The sheath is adequate. There's nothing wrong with it. It does the trick. But, when I did the Elk Ridge Small Stockman, I made a slip for it. So I thought, why not make a sheath, side draw sheath, for the Elk Ridge Bowie knife. So this just fits right down in there. It's got great retention. As you can see, this goes on your belt. It's got not an elk, but a deer, because that's all I have as far as stamping is concerned. I put some custom stamping on there. And this is green and brown dye mixed together, hence the green lanyard. And I think it turned out pretty decent. And so this sheath will travel with the Elk Ridge Bowie knife on its travels, and wherever it ends up, the sheath can go with it. And I'll just donate that to the cause. And thank you, North Star Knife Reviews, for organizing this, and thank you all for watching.